Hey guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox, the best science fiction fantasy stories you've never heard about, on Amazon, Smashwords, or right here on YouTube as audiobooks for you to check out. Today, we have Trencher, the Christmas episode. But before we do that, I have something really cool. I got a Christmas present yesterday, actually. No, this came today. Comic-Con podcast. I happened to buy, for you guys, the Dogs of London limited series from Top Cow. Who made this? I think they made it themselves. Dogs of London, it's 6 issues. It's about gangsters in England. And it looks good. We're going to read it here, or read a few of them until I get bored of it. We still have the rest of Secret to do. But check this out. So, they sent me their card, and you can use that QR code to check out their podcast. Or you can look it up. But he included these 2 awesome books, Marcus 1 and 2, and this one's got a certificate of authenticity. I think this might be autographed. This is autographed. I don't even know if this guy knows that he did this. He gave me 1 and 2, and I'm going to guess, look, I love Conan. These have got to be right up my alley. This is a Christmas present and a half. 1 and 2. So, Comic-Con podcast, and check them out. 2 guys here. I can't read their names because my eyes are fucked. But I did read this with my glasses on, and so we are going to talk about this. Keith Griffin's last Trencher, and he knew the axe had fallen. There's a couple lines in here about Gideon Trencher, the guy who used to have an Image comic book. This is only issue 5, the Christmas special. He only got 1 through 4, and he was a comic book veteran, sorry, give me a second here. He was a comic book veteran, a comic book professional, well known throughout the industry, respected, dare I say respected, as both an artist and a writer, and he got his shot at the big time, and he produced magnificent artwork that was just, what's the saying? I remembered a couple things I forgot yesterday. Aspartame and filet mignon. And this is too clever by half. That's the problem with Keith Griffin's, I want to say freshman, but I'm sure he did. This is his first writing and drawing. Maybe not. But this is his, and I don't know if this is his first solo character book. This is the first and perhaps only encounter I had with Keith Griffin. I have never been a fan of superhero comics. I've read Superman and Batman and Spider-Man. I never collected them religiously. I liked Batman. I loved the Nightwing series with Scott McCloud, and I think that was Chuck Dixon. I love the Punisher, but it's hard to call the Punisher a superhero. He is at best an anti-hero or a vigilante. Same thing with Batman, technically, but let's face it, Batman is superhero comics. And it's just, I don't want to say that they're gay, but it's too much sheep in wolves clothing. They used to be really good. The Larry Hama G.I. Joe stuff when I was a kid was great. I didn't read a ton of it. We had a family friend who had some of those issues, and I got to read them, and they were brilliant. But I never collected G.I. Joe. I loved the Tick and the Crow, that kind of stuff. The original Turtles, the black and white Punisher, the black and white Conan. Really, I am a Conan kid. If I was a Toys R Us kid, I would be a Conan Toys R Us kid. And I saw today, I watched someone talking about, it was Perch and another guy. I want to say it was Perch and another guy, but wasn't though. It was the guy who's not Perch, who uses his real name. And they were talking about comics, and they were talking about Jim Zub's Conan. And unfortunately for Jim Zub is doing his Conan run in an oversaturated Conan market. Conan hasn't been good since the 90s, and the idea that he is producing something new and groundbreaking as a fat old man is questionable. I will check it out, but a lot of them are the same old stories, The Frost Giant's Daughter and The Tower of the Elephant. And other than art, what is Jim Zub really producing? He's not doing shit. He's doing dialogue. He's doing an adaptation. Come on, guys. Are you that desperate for good comics that you're willing to praise a guy who's just doing another reboot? That's all it would really be. If you're doing the Robert E. Howard stories again, after Barry Windsor Smith did them, after John Buscema did them, after Neil Adams did them, after everyone fucking did them, and you're bringing something new to the table, Conan's a little more chiseled. He's on HGH, not steroids. What the fuck do you guys want? I was more excited about Savage Avengers. Seeing Conan hanging out with Wolverine, I thought that was going to be cool. I read a couple issues of that. I think they're here somewhere, or they might have been given away. But it was fucking garbage. The dialogue was shit. All they did was bring the Avengers to a Conan villain. Time-hopping adventure. It was not special. It's really kind of stupid. Oh, so what's going on here? This is Christmas. Trencher is still being hunted by Elvis. This is where he acknowledges that he's been fired and that he's not going to get in issue number 5. Then they do a countdown and it's snowing wherever he is. He's not in Vegas. He's somewhere else. It doesn't matter. All the cities look the same. Keith Giffen drew every background as either a desolate wasteland or a metropolis. It's kind of like Dread, Mega City 1 or the Badlands. And it's Christmas time, and he is looking for an evil Santa, and he machine guns this Santa in front of all the kids. There is a nice bit where this elf is like, hey man, hey, you gotta pay. Hey bro, you gotta pay. And he knocks him out. And then another one gives it, after he machine guns Santa, I think this is where he walks up to Santa, and then he machine guns him in front of all the kids. And then as he's walking around, he sees another Santa and punches him like out of the suit. I love the unrestrained violence of this, but this needs to be a cartoon or a video game. As a comic book, it needs a different writing staff. The art is brilliant. And look, if this was the only way we were going to get this, well, maybe it'll inspire something more cohesive in the future. And if not, look, it gave me 5 episodes of promoting my stories. My stories are better than this. I spent a lot more time and effort at them. And I care about my characters. My characters are going to last. Once my stuff gets discovered, fucking look out, world. Look the fuck out. I had to go through 3 different t-shirts today because they had a chance to get my channel shut down. And like the one I'm wearing does too. I should keep my mouth shut about it. Here's my chief complaint for this episode is the main bad guy is only drawn in silhouette. And I suspect that Keith Giffen didn't know what he was going to look like. Oh, look, there's an ad for Greg Capullo on the back. There's someone who was doing it right all along. Even if he has gotten into some controversy now. For bullshit. But anyhow, this bad guy, this purple bad guy, is like really drawn in silhouette the whole issue. And I don't know if Keith Giffen was going to go back and design his costume afterwards, or if he just meant to leave him blank, or if he was a black hold, if he was going to do just color them all black, that would have been better. But that's not what happened. And, we also get this strange thing, this is weird, how these 2 cops have been called, and this is disgusting too. This bad guy is... This leads right into the current obnoxiousness from Detective Comics, where they put out a Harley Quinn scratch and sniff book based around her downstairs, her back door. And this bad guy is of the same variety. He is a digestive gas vampire. I just don't want to say the word because it's gross and I feel like a dick today. And I feel like fucking with Keith Giffen. And I don't want to... I feel like this book is bait. And I don't feel like sinking to his level. So here we introduce 2 cops who are Keith Giffen goes on to announce that they are cliche cops, and that every show had these same two cops, and usually the only thing different about them was their haircut. And so here we get, so here are the cops doing their investigation, and here is the victim of this bad guy, this week's bad guy, who has 2 wounds in his butt cheeks, where this bad guy, I don't know, inserted tentacles into the internal digestive cavities and retrieved digestive gases, flammable digestive gases. And so here's Trencher investigating the same thing. And then we get something interesting. Now, I don't know if this was Image Comics. I don't know if this was by the guy himself, Keith Griffin, or if this was in response to something else. So here the cops are doing their investigation. Trencher's wandering about. It's Christmas. Trencher is going around killing Santa Claus, while the other bad guy is going around harvesting digestive gases. And here we get a letter to Keith Griffin from the editor, and it says, "We don't like your cookie cutout cops. We want to make them bull dyke lesbians." Not in so many words. It says it in corporate speak. And so for the rest of the issue, we get the 2 formerly guy cops who are now these 2 big hair sort of Golden Girls cops with weird makeup and earrings. And I don't know what Keith Griffin, I don't know what he was smoking, what kind of drugs he was on. This was before marijuana was legal, so maybe he was getting shit mixed with formaldehyde. I don't fucking know. If this guy's on angel dust and PCP, I don't know what kind of drugs produced this comic book. Drugs have done magical things. And they've also fucking wasted a lot of money. But this is drugs. And then we get, so now this is weird. We get, I think maybe Keith Griffin got into some weird BDSM stuff, because here we get a Captain America character who is being given a cybernetic upgrade to fire projectiles from his back door. So this goes right along with, this guy would be so happy working for DC Comics today. It's too bad he passed away, because he'd be really happy working for Detective Comics. Here we get the other bad guys killing each other, hunting each other. It's just exposition of a comic book that's already dead. This is like a lame duck session of Congress. They're not really doing anything, but they have to keep going because, these pages were already drawn. They may as well, and they're already colored. They may as well letter them and publish them. And here we get this, the bad guy so now there's some more definition to his outfit. This is the guy who'd been mostly drawn in silhouette. Now he's purple, and he has some, we can see he has some cybernetic metal attached to him. I'm really bothered that this isn't in focus, but I'm going to just trust that I have all night, so I can shoot this again if I have to. Here we get more of his, again, he has claws, but a lot of it is this weird gradient with magenta contour lines. He and Gideon Trencher have some back and forth while Phoebe chastises Trencher for his methods. Oh, back a couple pages, Trencher punched out another Santa somewhere. Should we look for it? Yeah, this is the cops chasing the fart vampire, which is what he's called in this book. And I guess he kills them. I don't remember. I read it a couple hours ago. I should remember, but it really wasn't that memorable. Now he finally faces Trencher, and they have a fight. Hold this up a couple seconds longer, because this is his outline. He's all white down there in the bottom panel. It's his silhouette. Again, I feel bad. Okay, so now this is where something happens. Yeah, this is where we left off. This is the cops fighting him. Female cops, and he uses his gas powers to set off an explosion, gets away from the female cops, encounters Trencher. Trencher fights him, rips out his guts, smells the methane, and we get our big kaboom. Because that's what this book was all about from the beginning. At least this time, Keith Giffen wrote toward an ending. He knew what he wanted. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I do that again? At least this time, Keith Giffen wrote toward an ending. He knew what he wanted. This is what he was going for the whole time. At least this time, we got a story of a story. He knew what he wanted. He wanted to explode a fart vampire and cover the world in crap. I don't know why this is what Keith Giffen wanted to give you for Christmas, but that's who he is. That's who he is, and that's what he wanted to give you for Christmas. He wanted to cover your Christmas in shit. My guess is he's probably homosexual. Because that's who they are. And that's the end of it. That's the end of Trencher. The end of Trencher is spontaneous combustion from a fart vampire who blew crap all over the world. Image Comics hasn't grown at all. The only thing Image gets right is their fucking ads. How many years later? This was 1993. 31 years and Image hasn't learned a fucking thing. So, do I want to complain about DC? Clearly, Image is not alone. The best thing that ever happened to Image Comics was Robert Kirkman. I do want to I don't know Narwhal. I've never watched him on a stream. I guess his name is Per Berg. Congratulations on your Mark Millar book, The 8 Billion Vampires and One Safe Place, Vatican City. That's a cool idea. It's a very cool idea. I hope it works out. Maybe I'll read it, maybe I won't. I don't know if I'll read it on here. Probably not. It would be cool if it got a Netflix deal. Congrats, man. A friend of mine recently had come up against some really big accomplishment, and he was like kind of struggling with what to do now. And he was saying, like, now what? And I said, now, this wasn't a face-to-face conversation, but I did say, now is the what. And yeah, now is the what. Now is what it's all about. Now is where it's at. Now is where it's at for me too. I have to do another chapter tonight. I was drawing today, having a great time. I'm not going to show it off here, but I'll probably write a bit tonight. I'm having a fantastic time. So this is in the description. Today's conflicted card is the King of Spades. This is a pretty interesting one. This is Conflicted Deck 2. It's the end of the world. You have a decent little community going on, and you are being threatened by a local law enforcement officer. He has a very bad reputation from before the collapse, where he was abusive to people, and now he's gotten worse. What do? He's apparently saying if you don't let him into your community, he will report you for terrorist activities. So I have a couple questions. He's a law enforcement officer for what government? And report you to whom for terrorist activities? Is there still a federal government? Is there still local government? I would invite that guy in and he'd never see the sunrise. Be that simple. And I'd do it fair. I'd do it Jim Bowie style. Push back all the furniture, put a knife on the floor. Let's go, buddy. Let's see who's got what. Just for fucking fun. I want the world to collapse so bad. Most injuries, you see videos like a guy goes and punches out a window and severs an artery and almost dies. You gotta be really careful in the end of the world. You gotta be really careful. One injury and you're fucking done. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope I get to live my comfy, cozy lifestyle, go skating, make comics, do nothing all day. Every day's a holiday and every meal's a feast. See you guys tomorrow.